Senators Manny Pacquiao and Koko-Pimentel denounced the PDP-Laban assembly led by Energy Secretary Alfonso Cusi, calling it illegal and a farce. Also, President Rodrigo Duterte floats the idea of running for vice president to escape lawsuits. And later, how is the interagency task force bracing for the threat of the Delta COVID-19 variant? IATF co-chairperson and PDP-Laban Executive Vice President Karlo Nograles joins us live. The PDP faction, led by Senators Manny Pacquiao and Koko-Pimentel, is refusing to recognize the assembly staged by Energy Secretary Alfonso Cusi. The two senators insist that the assembly attended by President Rodrigo Duterte has no force or legal effect. Mr. Duterte supports the leadership change in PDP-Laban, even calling out Senator Pimentel for appointing Pacquiao as acting party president. Let's go straight to the source of the story. We have PDP-Laban Executive Vice President and Cabinet Secretary Karlo Nograles. Secretary Nograles, welcome back to the source. Maraming salamat po sa inyong oras.
Magandang umaga sa iyo, Pinky, and thanks for having me at the source.
So, new officers have been elected. From what I understand, there were 16 in total, including yourself. You have a post, that is Executive Vice President of PDP-Laban. But as I mentioned a while ago, Senator Koko-Pimentel says the assembly over the weekend was unauthorized, and therefore the election of officers farce, illegal, and no force in effect. Does this mean, Secretary, are we to believe that there are two factions and two sets of leaders of PDP-Laban?
Ay, wala po. There's just one PDP-Laban and one set of officers. And that has all been resolved by virtue of the National Council meeting and the National Assembly that was called nitong past few days, no? Friday and Saturday. At the reason why both meetings were called is precisely para matapos na po ang question kung sino ba talaga yung officers natin, dahil po importante ma-determine yan kasi that resolves kung sino yung mabibigyan ng authority to sign the Certificate of Nomination and Acceptance or CONA, kasi papunta na po tayo sa national and local elections at alam po natin that the COMELEC has a schedule that all parties must keep, no? At kabilang po dyan yung pagpatawag ng National Convention ng bawat parties. But more importantly, it answers the question kung sino po yung authorized na pumirma ng mga documents attesting to COMELEC kung sino yung magiging official candidates ng PDP-Laban from national offices down to the local offices, no, for the national and local election. So wala pong faction, wala pong two sets of officers. Napakaliwanag po kung sino yung pipirma, sino yung authorized. At gawa na nga po ng pag-elect ng mga new sets of officers ng PDP-Laban, it now ends the questions and speculations kung sino ba talaga ang authorized. I'd also like to add, Pinky, na lahat naman ng ginawa sa National Council meeting at National Assembly meeting ay sang-ayon sa Constitution ng PDP-Laban. So everything was done by the book. Kung ano ay nakalagay sa Constitution ng PDP-Laban, sinundan natin. And all of the members who voted, no, in both the National Council and the National Assembly are those who are authorized to vote as per the Constitution of PDP-Laban and as per official records submitted to COMELEC by no less than Senator Koko-Pimentel himself. Kasi nung November, they submitted kasi a list of officers or members who are the national officers, the national committee chair, the regional council presidents, all of the members. At ito yung nagiging basis po ng PDP-Laban sa pag-invite nung kung sino yung boboto dito sa National Council meeting at sa National Assembly. So everything was done by the book, all recorded,
Okay,
and all in accordance with the procedures.
but while your group is saying that, Sec Carlo, the group of Senator Pimentel and Senator Manny Pacquiao are saying still that that assembly, that meeting was illegal. So at the end of the day, will it still be up to the COMELEC to decide which group will be the one that will truly represent PDP-Laban? Babalik pa rin ho ba ulit yan sa COMELEC to resolve?
Well, COMELEC will not act on it motu proprio, if that's what you're asking, no? I don't want to also speculate what other members of PDP-Laban will do as far as questioning the proceedings that happened.
Okay.
Hello. Sorry, is my connection choppy?
Yes, it's okay. It has been choppy, but I'm getting bits and pieces of what you're saying. Sabi mo po, you don't want to speculate and you don't want to,
Yes.
you don't know what the other group will be doing. But if this is questioned before the COMELEC, I guess that's my point. It will be the COMELEC at the end of the day that will decide who really are the true members and officers of PDP. Tama ho yun.
Perhaps if somebody will question it, kasi syempre, if anyone feels aggrieved, dalawang bagay po yan. No? Number one, in the party itself, meron po tayong grievance mechanism dyan. So you can go to the party itself and we can resolve differences within the party. But outside of the party, hindi na namin alam kung anong gagawin ng sinumang members.
Okay.
No? Kung saan sila pupunta, ano ba ang kumbaga where they will bring their questions, no, or their grievances. But the party itself has grievance proceedings. That being said, Pinky, I'd also like to add na yung mga nag-attend ng National Council meeting at ng National Assembly natin are all duly elected and recognized members of PDP-Laban, so much so that they already represent their respective councils, no? And them being governors, no, you will see that they are governors. These are duly elected governors, congressmen, senators, mayors. Based on our constitution, these are the officials or persons who are authorized to attend and vote in the National Council and the National Assembly. So the PDP-Laban, following its own principles and tenets of democratic socialism, following the tenets of democracy, wherein the rule of the majority is what is respected, and also while giving the minority also a chance to be heard, no? We follow all of these principles and tenets.
So the question now is, Secretary, ang tanong ngayon, ano po mangyayari kay Senator Pacquiao at Senator Pimentel? Are they still members of PDP-Laban?
Opo, they're still members of PDP-Laban. Alam nyo, even in the party itself, hindi naman yan basta-bastang mag-expel ka ng member ng partido. May dadaan ng, like I said, a grievance mechanism yan, no? And may appeals pa nga yan, eh. No, so you can complain, you can in the grievance mechanism, you can complain against any member, and expulsion has to be 2/3 nga, eh. You need 2/3 vote to expel any member in the party. And dadaan yan sa proseso. Of course, anyone is free to leave the party. Hindi naman natin pinipigilan yan. But as far as expelling any member is concerned, there's a grievance mechanism and a 2/3 vote that is required, and it is appealable. So kumbaga, tayo naman sa PDP-Laban, sumusunod naman po tayo sa procedures. I think the bottom line is let's just follow the procedure and let's just follow what the Constitution says. No?
Right.
And
But
as far as kung sino yung dapat bumoto based on official records, yun po yung sinunod ng partido.
so while Senators Pacquiao and Pimentel are still members of PDP, clearly hindi na po sila officers. Ano po? Hindi na po, obviously, hindi na po acting president si Senator Manny Pacquiao at hindi na rin executive vice chairman, I believe, si Senator Koko Pimentel. Tama ho ba?
Yes. Alam niyo, if
Okay.
you look at the Constitution also, nakalagay din dun sa Constitution ng PDP-Laban that all officers hold their office for only 2 years. No? May 2
Yes.
years term po yan. 2 years term po yan. And then, since hindi nagkaroon ng election afterwards, these are only parang kumbaga in a holdover capacity or an interim capacity. Pending, of course, a National Council meeting and a National Assembly meeting, which is why nagkaroon ng National Council meeting at National Assembly meeting precisely to
Alright.
re-elect for a fresh mandate and a fresh term our national officers.
Okay, and all the 16 now have a fresh 2-year term. We'll be taking a very short break. The source will be right back. You're watching The Source on CNN Philippines. I'm Pinky Webb. Our guest today, PDP-Laban Executive Vice President and Cabinet Secretary Karlo Nograles. So, Secretary, is your group still planning to reach out to Senators Manny Pacquiao and Koko Pimentel?
We've always opened the door. We've always invited them to the meetings. In fact, even si Senator Pacquiao, we know who is training abroad for his fight. We've invited him to even attend the Zoom meetings para maka-voice out din siya. No? And of course, kay Senator Pimentel, we continue to reach out to him ever since, from the very beginning, yung pag-reach out kay Senator Koko Pimentel, with all due respect to Senators Koko Pimentel at si Senator Manny Pacquiao. So we still continue to open the doors to the both of them. And in fact, in one of the in the National Council meeting, there was even a suggestion to create a council of elders. And one of the members of the Council of Elders, and one of the members or proposed members, and we opened the invitation, is for Senator Koko Pimentel to be a member of the Council of Elders ng PDP-Laban. So,
Okay.
Nandiyan pa rin yan. We're still open. Again, sa lahat naman ng mga members ng PDP-Laban, as we always follow the Constitution of PDP-Laban, at lahat naman po yan ay nire-reach out natin.
Okay, even if there are some members who want Senator Pacquiao even expelled from, taken out of the group because of his what they call criticism on President Rodrigo Duterte, kahit na po nagsalita, supposed to be ng medyo maaanghang na salita, si Senator Pacquiao. Of course, the side of Senator Pacquiao is saying, when he talks about corruption, inamin naman po ni Pangulo yun. Pero may ilang mga members na hindi masaya about that. So, are you looking at looking into the supposed criticism of Senator Pacquiao, o talagang gusto niyo pa rin siyang miyembro ng PDP?
Yung expulsion di umano, that's also been resolved. That was already resolved din sa National Council meeting natin, So na-bring up yun, na expulsion. And again, na-mention during the National Council meeting na yung expulsion hindi basta-basta yan. Dadaan po yan ng proseso. Dapat number one, may complaint. Then that complaint has to be heard, by the council, at dapat bibigyan po natin yung respondents to the complaint, sabihin natin, ng chance to be heard. Number one, dapat may due notice. Number two, dapat may right to defend himself or herself in a hearing. So dapat 3 elements yan. May hearing, may due notice at may right to defend himself or herself by himself or herself or even by counsel, no? And then a decision has to be made for any expulsion. Dapat pa nga 2/3 vote of the council before any expulsion. At dahil hindi nga dumaan sa proseso, question doon sa National Council itong di umunang pag-expel. Oo. And napag-agrihan doon sa council na though there's no expulsion because none of the mechanisms or the procedure or the elements was followed, no? So wala na 'yun. So tanggal na 'yun. As far as Senator Manny Pacquiao is concerned, wala rin po tayong complaint so far. Wala naman complaint pa, no? Or if meron man, kailangan dumaan din muli sa proseso.
So clearly what you're saying, Secretary. Okay. What you're saying is wala pang complaint kayong alam right now, but at any given time, anyone can file a complaint against him. And then it has to go through the process, and then there needs to be 2/3 of vote para po matanggal siya sa partido.
Opo. As far as a complaint is concerned, I don't hold the record, so I don't know kung meron, no? But rest assured na in our party, following the Constitution, we will afford anyone, no? Kung sino man yan, whether it's whoever, the right to be heard, the right to notice, and the right to hearing.
Okay. Now let's talk about a gathering, maybe an assembly or council meeting by the group of Senator Koko Pimentel in September. That's why I was asking you who would be really the legitimate group and officers, because they're planning one also in September. Hindi ho ba?
Yeah, but if they want to do something by September, they have to, number one, kailangan sumunod sila sa PDP-Laban Constitution, no? And that means they have to follow who are the authorized members na pwedeng mag-attend and vote, no, in those meetings. So number one, kung titingnan ninyo yung aming constitution, nakalagay po dyan kung sino yung authorized and to vote for the national positions. Both in the National Council and the national officers, no? So from chairman, vice chairman, yung president, EVP, lahat po yan ay nakalagay sa constitution natin kung sino yung authorized na bumoto para sa partido, para sa ganyan klase mga officers.
And let's look into just very quickly the possible candidates for vice president and president of your group of PDP-Laban. Meron na pong resolution urging the president to run as vice president. In fact, nagsalita din po si Pangulo nung Sunday. Sabi nga niya, pinag-iisipan niya dahil it's a way for him to be immune from suits. Ano po? Of course, that's questioned by some lawmakers and some legal experts. But is this group still pushing for the president to run as vice president?
Hindi naman nagbago yung resolution. So the resolution was not modified, altered, or overturned whatsoever. So the resolution still stands, no? The resolution still stands na the party, PDP-Laban, is still asking President Rodrigo Roa Duterte to consider running for Vice President of the Republic of the Philippines and giving him the discretion to recommend to PDP-Laban who he believes should run for president and be supported by PDP-Laban.
And who is in the...
Na-reaffirm na chairman pa rin po siya, no? He was re-elected as our national chairman of PDP-Laban.
And who is in the short list for possible presidential bets?
Ay, wala pa po. Wala pa tayo niyan. That was not yet discussed by the party. Kasi if you go by the resolution, we are also asking for guidance from President Rodrigo Duterte, being our national chairman. We're also asking for guidance from him kung sino yung i-recommend niya sa partido.
As a last question on this, meron ho bang kahit na maliit na chance na masama pa si Senator Manny Pacquiao sa mga pagpipilian or sa shortlist ng President doon po sa inyong grupo?
I cannot speak for the President in terms of who he will recommend to us, no? But again, kung sino man ire-recommend ni Pangulong Duterte sa amin, no, sa PDPLaban Council and national officers and the body itself, it will also still have to pass through the process ng aming partido, no? Well, we are scheduling a national convention come September. Also, in accordance with the schedule that was given by COMELEC, no, to all parties. And so sa national convention, baka doon i-announce kung sino yung aming magiging susuportahan for President and Vice President.
All right. Coming up, experts say it's just a matter of time. How ready are we for a COVID-19 surge triggered by the Delta variant? IATF co-chair Karlo Nograles will still be with us after the break. Please stay tuned. You're watching The Source on CNN Philippines. I'm Pinky Webb. Our guest today, Interagency Task Force co-chairperson Karlo Nograles. Secretary, so let's talk about the Delta variant. We have 35 cases, 11 po yung local cases. As IATF co-chairperson, two things. How concerning is this for you? Number one. And number two, do you think we actually have more cases that we just don't know of?
Of course, we're very much concerned, and as we should be, no? This is something that we've tried to avoid from happening. But now that it's here, then we all Filipinos, we all now have to increase our minimum public health protocols and standards, whether it's in the workplace or at home or in the community, sa mga barangay. Kailangan pataasin na po talaga natin ang ating PDITR, no? Yung prevention, yung pagsuot ng face mask at face shield, paghugas ng kamay, more social distancing. Then of course, yung as far as detection is concerned, yung ating gagawin while we're increasing yung testing natin, kailangan din po natin mag-increase ng genome sequencing down to the third generation contacts ng mga positive sa Delta. So dati, first generation, hindi lang pwede first generation at second generation, hanggang third generation contacts. Contact tracing at testing ng lahat ng mga nagpositibo sa Delta variant, no? And then yung isolation natin, we continue to push yung mga LGUs na dapat i-isolate na agad at i-quarantine yung mga positives. And then as far as oxygen treatment, as far as oxygen is concerned, we've been preparing naman. In fact, DTI has been communicating with oxygen manufacturers here in the Philippines. And the assurance is that we have enough oxygen supply, may surplus pa po tayo. And now that meron na pong Delta variant na detect in local communities, then we will continue to push oxygen manufacturers in the Philippines to increase yung oxygen capacities pa po nila and pag-manufacture ng additional oxygen para yung
Sir Karlo, I hope you don't mind quick questions and answers, please. I only have 2 minutes left. Travel ban, we already know that we have 8 countries, no, that we are implementing a travel ban. Is it about time na isama na po ang Malaysia at Thailand because there is a reported surge in cases in those 2 countries as well?
Yeah, we'll continue to monitor, no, yung mga countries, and we'll rely on the experts also to advise us in increasing siguro mga border controls natin, and if need be, impose additional bans in additional countries, then we'll take it up sa IATF and we'll decide.
Okay, pero wala pa, no, Secretary? And then what about, is government going to rethink this policy allowing children 5 years old and above to go out in open spaces because of the Delta variant? Kailangan ho bang pag-isipan ito muli?
It's something that we may consider or reconsider. It's something that we need to discuss IATF again. Yes.
And then the bubble. Oktay suggesting bumalik po tayo dun sa NCR plus bubble to prevent the spread of this Delta because meron pong dalawa sa NCR na local cases. Would this be a good idea, you think?
Now, all of these suggestions we will seriously consider, no, because the Delta variant is, changes the rules of the game. Basically, Delta variant, as we've seen in other countries, kung hindi mo pwede basta-bastahin na lang yan, hindi mo natin pwedeng pabayaan yan. It really changes the rules of the game right now. So we have to revisit all of our policies, all of the policies. So lahat ng mga recommendations niyan, we will seriously consider.
And because those were your answers dun po sa mga tatlong tanong ko, kailan ho ang IATF meeting? Because some people are saying we need to be very proactive about this. When will you meet so that mapag-usapan po ito and possibly may mga resolution or even change in policies?
Well, our regular meetings are every Thursday, no? But that's not to say na yung aming technical working groups are not working the rest of the week. No, so we have different technical working groups working the rest of the week para pagdating sa IATF every Thursday nakaplansya na lahat ng mga detalye.
Andun na po yung kanilang mga recommendation. Secretary Karlo Nograles, sir, as usual, maraming salamat po sa inyong oras.
Thank you, Pinky, and ingat po lahat. Stay safe. God bless.
Take care of yourself too, and thank you for joining us here on The Source. I'm Pinky Webb. You're watching CNN Philippines.